We're back.
Hello and Happy New Year. Welcome to the Mac Show, everybody. Infinite thanks for following us last year. This year we have a slew of all new episodes and topics to talk about that we're really excited about. I'm Anita K.
I'm MelodicMic. Stay tuned. We got something that you need to hear about because when do you know when it's finally over?
Ooh.
This topic right here, everybody, pay attention. A lot of people have been asking us, okay, how do you know when you're dating someone and it's time? It's time, you feel it, it's in your gut that it's like, it's not working.
And you're avoiding the relationship talk. You know that feeling when just like you said, it's a gut-wrenching feeling, but you're trying to avoid so many things associated with that. And you feel so guilty just thinking about, should you be moving on or not?
You don't want to offend the person, but you want to be honest. Everybody wants to keep it real, but at the same time, it's like, it's such bad news when it's like, oh my gosh, I'm just not that interested in them.
Yes.
So let's take a female's perspective on when you may possibly believe that it's over with, your mate or the person you're dating.
Well, speaking from personal experience, which I think is probably the most valuable, and I think a lot of ladies can attest to this, and I think a lot of guys can attest to this, but I think there's maybe about 3 things to consider. For me, probably the first and foremost is I start watching the signs that are changing between me and my boyfriend.
Such as?
Talking. The quantity of talking, the amount of our discussions, and yes, the quality of the discussions.
There we go.
As soon as my mate walks in the door, I'm thirsty to know about his day. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the evening. But when things are changing and I'm feeling it, I get a different vibe when he walks through that door.
Okay.
And that worried me. And it has worried me in the past. So I definitely think watch the signs that are changing between you two. How long have they been going on like that? And do we want to improve it? Number 2, sometimes you have to agree to disagree. When the arguments start transpiring between you two and you find yourself being a little more distant than you'd like to be, really communication, as hard as it is almost the most imperative at that moment. Absolutely. And as a result, the conversations that are going to be transpiring, you have to really try to keep a calm spirit and decide that sometimes we're going to disagree on things and sometimes we're going to agree. So don't blame one another, but be very thorough in your communication. And it's so interesting because if we really look at the common behaviors when we start dating in the beginning or even prior, we're so fixated on wanting to know everything about the other person. And then when we're in the relationship later down the road, and we all know what this feels like, the things that bother us the most are the ones that we most are fixated on. And that's another sign.
So you're telling me like when you get over this so-called cloud 9 feeling.
Yes.
Of the whole, oh, this is so great, this is so beautiful, and you get into the nitty-gritty of the daily life, right?
I agree with you.
Okay.
I think that's an excellent point. And I think number 3, it's really a good time to do a self-check-in and evaluate the benefits of staying, working it out, or possibly pondering leaving. So you really have to do a lot of self-analysis by yourself. Be careful with all of the external noise when you're sharing private information about your relationship that can really, give you biases that you probably don't need.
Right.
So a lot of alone time and self-awareness can determine, and you maybe need to follow your gut just as much, if not more, at that point. What do you think?
I just want to say a couple things. For guys, I'm not saying for all guys, but I'll throw this out there. If you start lingering, your eyes are wandering, and you start thinking about other people, and what's funny is that I've actually come across with some of my fellow friends out there the last couple days. They're dating someone, and they're starting to feel as it's flatlining, it's not working out, but they're not willing to have that conversation.
Why do you think that is?
They're punks. No, I mean, it's
I'm sure they're not.
I think they just have this gut-wrenching feeling where it's not comfortable. And there's a lot of people out there that, when you haven't accepted your truth and you haven't accepted the fact that, you're not in it and you want to have that conversation, but you can't have it because you just are scared of it.
Yeah.
right? You withdraw. So what you do is you find an avenue out, and you hope that based on your actions, this person will break up with you so you don't have to do the dirty work, and then you can escape. How many of you guys have done that?
How effective is that, by the way?
You know,
I know we do it.
Right.
I know a lot of people do it. It's very common. It's very normal. But how really effective is it? And do you feel better about yourself? I think the benefits of dating and learning and growing with different relationships are those learning takeaways. We should be building ourselves up and being a better person in the future relationships or those future dating experiences, even if they're not going to be permanent. So I think when we focus on that, we cultivate a lot of positive self-talk,
right,
which minimizes maybe playing games, or again, we're blaming the other person. We really are. We're not holding ourselves accountable for something that's so important in our lives. So that's really something to think about. And I think one of the reasons why we do that is the fear and managing the fear, you know, the what ifs. Well, if I break up, am I going to find somebody better? I don't think I will. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. And all the negative self-talk that goes associated with that. Because even if it's your choice, there's a level of disappointment and sadness that it didn't extend longer than what it really is. So I think a lot of it is not to harbor on the past and expect the future is going to be the same way, and all the while to learn those fear-based techniques that can really stop you in those tracks so you can have more fulfilling relationships and, more importantly, better conversations.
Well, let's do the biggest takeaway. For me, what I think is you have to hold yourself accountable.
Yes.
You really do.
Yes.
Be honest with your mate. Be honest. Really have that hard talk. You're going to have that hard communication and lay out.
And it's hard.
Yeah, it's difficult. We're not saying it's easy at all whatsoever. Yeah. But be honest about it. You get to a point where it's like, you know what, this is what it is. This is how I feel. You listen to your mate and see where you go from there. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, it's still good, because now you know it didn't work out.
And sometimes you have to take a step back in your relationship to make a step forward again.
Absolutely, yes.
And so don't be afraid of those things. They're really healthy, and it really shows you what kind of person you're with. Are they like-minded in solving problems, and do you have a commonality with that? I think that's really important too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
What do you think? What have you done? That's what we want to know. What have you done?
What have you done? Let us know.
Comment below.
There are multiple ways to look at this and multiple things to consider. Don't you think, Michael?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
There's different avenues. Let the community know by commenting below.
Please do. Let us know. And thanks for watching The Mac Show, everybody. I'm Anita Kay.
I'm MelodicMic.